Hi, this is Dave Hurwitz at ClassicsToday.com, here to talk about Mahler's Seventh Symphony, his least popular, in some ways strangest, but also most wonderful piece of writing. It's an astonishing work in 5 glorious movements with all kinds of interesting orchestration. It has a mandolin, it has a guitar, it has cowbells, and I have a story about the cowbells. Mahler's cowbells are a sort of a special sound world, all of his own. You find them in some other pieces. Strauss uses one in an Alpine symphony, but there he's trying to imitate cows. Mahler isn't. And to get the cowbell effect right, what you need are real cowbells. And I happen to have, here we go, see these? Aren't they beautiful? Oh, a big one. These are authentic Bavarian cowbells that I actually got in the gift shop at Neuschwanstein. The clerk there thought I was completely insane because I basically bought their entire stock of them because I wasn't really able to find a farm supply store in Bavaria when I was there. I didn't have enough time. But I was stuck at Neuschwanstein with a huge line to get in, and so I went into the gift shop, and there they were. Real, honest-to-God, Mahler style cowbells. So I have them, and I've used them in my performances of Mahler 6 and Mahler 7 when I've had the opportunity to play them, which isn't all that often. Now, the Mahler 7 is a tough nut to crack in some ways. Its harmonic syntax is quite modern. It looks far into the future in some ways. Some of the music is deliberately ugly. Its moods are mysterious. In the first Nachtmusik, the scherzo is this slinky, sleazy. Mahler marks it shadowy. But the real sticking point in the Seventh Symphony is the finale. Why? Because it's funny. It's really, really funny. It's a pastiche, hyper, super psychotic rondo in this sort of super attenuated form. I actually wrote it down once and charted it out in my book on Mahler symphonies, by the way. I sort of analyze it. It has an absolutely crazy form. It uses everything from sort of this faux Eastern Turkish music to sleazy cafe music to a fake sort of fanfare from Die Meistersinger with it's just great. And the only way to make it work is to just play the living daylights out of it, as I often say in these cases, and just go for the gusto and be funny. Allow yourself to sound silly, to sound stupid, to sound discontinuous. That's what the music is. It's supposed to be, Mahler marks it allegro ordinario. It's so simple what he's trying to do. He's glorifying the everyday, the ordinary in music, of course, that because it does that is simply extraordinary. And it's kind of amazing how many conductors fail to get the point. I think part of the problem is that they take themselves too seriously and they take the music too seriously. Of course Mahler's serious. Mahler's always serious, but his humor is serious too. In other words, it's seriously funny. It's authentic. It's real. And if you don't get the joke, you're better off just leaving it alone, seriously. And most of the time in the finale, especially in the coda, where you've got the chimes and the, these guys are blasting away. I mean, they just make an awful racket. It's supposed to be an awful racket. It's a din. It's supposed to clatter and sound discordant amidst all the joyous hubbub of the music. And that's what you just have to do. And most conductors just don't do it. They don't like it. They tamp it down. They try and sort of avoid it, or I don't know what their deal is. If you're going to play the symphony, then take it at face value and do what the bloody score says you're supposed to do. Now, there are some very fine recordings of the Seventh out there. One of the big sleepers was Michael Tilson Thomas's with the London Symphony on RCA. I just saw that it's still available actually on YouTube, or not YouTube, this is YouTube, on iTunes. That's what I mean, and download things, things. Maybe you can find it there. But also, there's a live recording with Kirill Kondrashin that was quite good. There are a few of them that have been good over the years, but there are two that are really, really outstanding, and I want to tell you about them now. The first is Michael Gielen, with the Südwestfunk Orchestra. Now, originally, this was released on interchord, so you could get it individually. It's a wonderful performance because Gielan was always interested in music that was slimy and ugly and discordant and somewhat, shall we say, anti-establishment, because that's the kind of artist he was. And he really digs into those gnarly moments. I mean, nobody starts the scherzo more creepily and with more sort of neurotic glee than Gielan manages. It's really quite stupendous. He's a little bit straight-laced in the finale, but it's a great performance, and it's in his box, his Mahler box, which is one of the great Mahler cycles. So you may have it already, or you may be interested in Gielan generally. But the recording to own, and it has been since the day it was issued, is this one, Leonard Bernstein's first recording with the New York Philharmonic on Sony Classical. This is one of those recordings where everything just went right. Bernstein was saturated with the idiom. He delves into every crazy nook and cranny of Mahler's bizarre orchestration. And most of all, it's a performance that's totally without fear, without modesty, without humility. It's just out there. It lets the music be itself, especially in the finale, which is also gloriously recorded. I mean, the engineers did a very, very good job with this. And I'm really surprised, actually, that the performance hasn't really gotten as much acclaim as I think it deserves. I think perhaps it is that the seventh is just the most misunderstood symphony, and people don't tend to gravitate towards it. But this is one of the glories of Bernstein's first Mahler cycle. It truly is. And one of the greatest recordings of anything ever made. I really believe that, because it was a recording that discovered the work. It told us what the music really was for the very, very first time. I mean, there are other beautiful performances. I said that. Heitinck's is very pretty in his first cycle. The playing's wonderful. It has beautiful sound, and I enjoy listening to it. I enjoy many others. But if I want to know the seventh, if you need one recording that tells you what the Mahler seventh is, this is your guy, and this is the recording. Enjoy and keep on listening. Thank you very much.